Hello, how you doing? This is Tom, and this is Tom's Radio Room Show. And as I mentioned in my previous video, I got some more over-the-air TV antennas from ANTOP, and I want to show you the one I just started testing. This is the model AT221-BV Aero plus amplified indoor HDTV antenna. Sells for $69. You can get it off of Amazon. Multi-directional reception pattern. Has a built-in 4G and 5G filters for blocking interference from wireless devices, which I've got a lot in my room, and I'm testing it in my office, which has a lot of devices running. Can be placed on the tabletop or mounted on a wall. Amplified range is up to 65 miles. Has detachable VHF enhancement rods for the lower channels, and the color is black. And down here it shows you, I'm looking for it. I'm looking for the picture where it shows, there it is. This is what's included. Antenna, cable, I think this is about 10 or 12 feet. This is the power box. This is the power adapter, which is USB, and they do provide the AC adapter. And of course you go to your converter box, which I'm using the iView converter box to my computer monitor. All right. So what I did, and what I always try to do, is I go to Rabbit Ear's website, which shows you where these stations are in your area. So I did a search, my location, search distance. I always selected 60 miles, and you can go up to 110. The units that it's showing on the other chart is this, and I did not hide off the air stations. So here is the map, and I found out you can do a couple of things to get a better view. You can press on this little button here to go to full screen. Okay, so there's my area. I'm located right here, and the colors represent the possibility of you receiving the stations. And so I've got 5 or 6 here, 1, 2, 3 down here, 1 here, a couple over here, 1 up here, 1 that's pretty far away, and another one that's pretty far away. So I should be able to receive where I've got it pointed, and I pointed it in a couple of different directions, which you'll see the results in my spreadsheet in a few minutes. Pointing it in this direction, of course, was the best because there's a bunch of transmitters there. All right, let's get out of here. And we'll go to a picture here. This is my setup. Kind of messy, yeah, cables all over the place, and this is just one little section of my office. But here's the antenna right here. I did try it down on the bench top down here, which meant there's this wall between it and the stations, and it didn't do too good, which the people at ANTOP told me that would probably be the case. You want to get it in a window. So there's a window back here behind this window shade. So this is where I mounted it. It's a little higher. This is on the 2nd floor, so this is probably 16 feet off the ground, and we are at 65 feet elevation where I live. And this is where it was pointed north. And I also did a test with it pointed east into the window, and then finally I moved it around and pointed it southwest where most of the transmitters are. Okay, so let's look at my test results. Here we are. Now this spreadsheet gets kind of busy, and it's the one I keep adding to. You can see all these back here are the test of the 800 model 800 SBS antenna, which is indoor and it likes to be outdoors. And the final test where I've got under verified in this series, this is what I went back and verified my test. Then when I started the test on the Aero, I still had the 800 hooked up, pointed 135 degrees, and I did a count of the channels once again before I disturbed anything. Again, this is outside. You can go back to my previous video and see where I've mounted it outside between some trees so that it gets the best shot at those transmitters that are southeast of me, and it did great. We come down here, we got 118 channels when I did the retest just the other day. Okay, then I hooked up the Aero and I tested it at various angles. So this was 90 degrees or east of me. This is 135, which is comparable to this test, which has been the best setup. This is at 45 degrees and this is at 0 degrees. So we can see the test results here, and we can kind of compare them to the 800. And I need to slide this over so you can see these columns over here. Let me zoom, let's see these out. One more, there we go. Hope you can read this. So here are the channel numbers. This database is derived from that Rabbit Ears website, and I had to, when I imported it, I had to kind of doctor it up. So there are some mistakes. Now the other thing I've done is they have multiple listings for a given channel, because depending on where you're at, you can have stations that use the same channel numbers. Like, for instance, here it will show, if I go out to 110 miles, which I think this database is for 110 miles, it will include things like, let me see if I can find one. Okay, this particular spreadsheet is sorted by transmitter distance. So the closest stations are on the top. So, but if I go to this one, this is sorted by channel. And now I can show you, okay, so like here's Daytona Beach on 2.1, there's Orlando City on 2.1, both of them far away, Ocala 2.1, far away, so I can't get any of those. And then here's 2, so there was 3 stations, transmitter stations, on that same channel in different cities. That's what I was trying to tell you. Okay, let's go back to this one. So here's by distance. So typically I will receive the closer stations, naturally. The other variable is the direction. So like for instance, and like I say, these are now sorted by distance, not by channel number. So for instance, here's one. If I look over here, I go across, let me select that. Okay, there's Osmar, which is only 20 miles from me, but I did not receive it on either antenna. And the reason being is the direction. This is almost north, and I had the antennas pointed southeast or 135 degrees, so it didn't pick up anything. This one right here was a little surprise. I may have some bad data here or something, that I didn't pick this one up on the retest of the 800 SBS. Now the other thing you have to keep in mind, I know I'm babbling, but I'm trying to get everything in here, is stations will go off the air. Just, you know, they're only not on 24/7. So maybe when I did this scan for the 800, this station, which is in St. Pete, which is only 9 miles from me, I didn't receive anything. But yet when I did the scan using the Aero, it picked up 6 sub-channels. So keep that in mind as a variable there. And here's another one. This is another one in St. Pete, which in that case, I picked it up on both antennas. All right, so we can just go down here, and the thing we're really interested in is the 135 degrees. Now, keeping in mind also, and I forgot to mention it, let me go back to it, is outside this window, this is on the second story, pointed in the direction of the transmitters is a tree. So at least being up on the second story, the tree is not as thick. It's still in the way, but it's not as thick as it is down near the base. So that's one advantage by putting it up here as high as possible. I could have put it up on the top shelf, which you don't see here, but I didn't have enough cord here to stretch it that high. Now, right here, you can see with this particular test, I don't have the second vertical antenna fully extended because it was too close to the window. This one's fully extended, this one's not. It's not missing, it's not fully extended. When I did the test where it was facing 135, so these antennas were outside of the bookcase frame, then I had both of them extended. So that was a slight improvement. All right, let's go back to the test results. So let's compare these two, this one here, this column here, and this column here. So we can see that, as I mentioned before, the Aero picked up these and the 800 did not. These were the same. These were picked up by the 800. 800 is stationary at 135 degrees. But here you can see when I moved the antenna to 90 degrees, so it's pointing due east, I picked up these channels. Now, there are a lot of variables when I move the antenna. Not only the direction, but I have to kind of, if we go back to the picture again, I kind of have to figure out how to get it to fit in this area right here. So that's, like I say, you can see on this orientation, I couldn't get this telescopic antenna fully extended. So that's a variable. So we come down here, these match. So it's doing it pretty good. Now, I missed a whole bunch of them right here. And this is Tampa, but it's, now it's a little further distance. See, right here, down to here, it's 32.3 miles. And then it jumps up a little bit, and I didn't get any of those signals except this one here. So it didn't do too good once it got beyond the 132 miles. Now, the other thing I need to point out is when I put an indication that I received a station, I only score it as received if there are no dropouts. So I could have received some of these stations weak, but they had dropouts, so I didn't score it. So that might be why these are missing. Then we come down here. We've got one at Brandon, about the same direction, but now it's 100 miles. Same distance, and it's about the same direction. I did get that, but I didn't get these down here. Also, the transmitters will have different power. So that's another variable. Okay, so now once we got out beyond 135 miles, I wasn't picking up anything, even on the 800 outside. So this one only got, best case, pointed 135 degrees inside my office. It got 36 channels with no dropouts. The 800, which is mounted outside, it's mounted between the trees, so it doesn't have as much interference in the southeast direction as this antenna will have. So that's about it. You can see when I rotated the antenna 90 degrees, I got 27 channels, 45 degrees. I got 29 channels, and I think I did 0 also. Yeah, at 0 degrees I got 29. So these two were the same. So it's not as directional as the 800 because of the type of antenna. It is built into this box. Let me see, I don't know if they show you, they're up to the wrong webpage. I don't think they show you a picture of the insides here. But as you can see by the shape of this, the UHF part of the antenna is in this little box. And it does have an amplifier, so it is amplified, but it's a fixed amplification. This is a log periodic antenna, to remember how those are shaped. So it's not extremely directional, but it's kind of directional. And again, this is what you get in the box. That's it. I have 3 more antennas that they sent me in this recent shipment to show you. There's the little power module. And this one, you can get this off of Amazon. It's $70. Works pretty good. Again, there's a lot of variables. Your location, where the transmitters are, do you have interference? Like I said before, it did not receive too well when it was down on the bench top, meaning that it was pointing through the wall. So it had the wall into place, plus it was pointing through the lower part of that tree that's in the way. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please give me a thumbs up. That tells me I'm giving you shows that you're interested in and not wasting your time. And have a great day. Bye-bye.